I'm right now in a hall which has been set up for the victims to collect their DNA samples so that their loved ones can be, those who were on the plane, they can be identified. Because what has been basically recovered from the crash site is charred remains.
Unsurprisingly, on the front pages of really all the papers this morning, including the Times, crash leaves sole survivor, talking about the more than 240 people on the Boeing plane bound for the UK killed in the Indian air disaster. The Guardian, at least 260 die. That, of course, aggregates the people on the ground who died as well, and the Daily Express and many other papers, miracle of man in seat 11A who walked away. So much more to come in terms of the investigation on this.
Well, emergency workers and aeronautical specialists are continuing to search through the wreckage of that Air India flight 171 that was bound for Gatwick. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has is visiting the scene of the plane crash in Ahmedabad and is meeting injured people in hospital. In a moment, we'll speak to our reporter who's in Ahmedabad this morning. But first, let's speak to Simon Calder, who's travel editor at The Independent. He's at Gatwick Airport. Morning, Simon.
Good morning, Chloe.
Am I right in thinking that there is actually almost like a support centre set up for the families at Gatwick this morning?
Well, most of the support work is actually being handled out of India by Air India. There are very well established protocols for this. At the moment, of course, it's now over 12 hours since the aircraft was due to arrive at Gatwick. Tragically, the flight lasted a matter of seconds, and there is another flight due to be coming in today using the same type of aircraft, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner from Goa. The flight appears to be going ahead, although it is likely to be delayed, I understand. But clearly, yes, lives, hundreds of them shattered in just a moment when that aircraft came down. Such harrowing footage. And exactly as you say, investigators have been working through the night to try to identify what could have gone wrong, not just trying to retrieve the two black boxes, flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, but also looking at air traffic control data, CCTV, radar, anything that can help them understand the sequence of events that brought about this tragedy. What's the safety record of this plane? Because it's a relatively new plane, isn't it? Yes, the 787 has been in service since 2011. There were initially, when it first was launched, the aircraft was actually grounded for several months because of fears about fires in the lithium batteries installed. That was soon sorted, and the aircraft has been flying pretty much without incident since then. The particular aircraft was delivered in 2014 to Air India and has been flying safely. And there have been, Chloe, concerns about the overall Boeing safety record following not just two fatal crashes involving Boeing 737 MAX, 737 MAX aircraft, but also exposing shortcomings in the safety culture at Boeing. At the moment, though, there is no suggestion that the aircraft was at fault, but it is one of the things that the investigators will be looking at. And crucially, it is a matter of haste, because if there is some unidentified fault that could actually jeopardize other flights, they will want that to be known and circulated as soon as possible. Simon, thank you ever so much. That's Simon Calder, travel editor at The Independent, speaking to us from Gatwick Airport this morning. Well, let's speak to Akash Hassan, who's the Times reporter who's in Ahmedabad this morning. Morning, Akash.
Good morning.
Tell us the latest on the investigation and what it is like in Ahmedabad this morning, the aftermath of this crash.
Well, there is not much public about the investigation so far. Though Prime Minister Narendra Modi just visited the crash site, he is right now in the hospital where the injured are being treated and where the families of victims have gathered. I'm right now in a hall which has been set up for the victims to collect their DNA samples so that their loved ones can be, those who were on the plane, they can be identified. Because what has been basically recovered from the crash site is charred remains. It's completely, it's tense, and emotionally charged mood here in Ahmedabad. I met a few families who have lost their loved ones. I met one person who lost uh, his nephew. I met another family who lost his cousin and his family. He was a he was traveling. He's based in London, but was traveling to meet traveling India to meet his family, and in the matter of seconds, his wife and two kids, including himself, just perished. There's helplessness. These families, the samples are being collected from them, but they will have to wait for at least 72 hours to ascertain the identity. So it's a charged mood. There are still families coming in, sobbing and wailing in a helpless situation. And in some moments from now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to meet these families here in the hall where I am right now. He already met some injured, including the lone survivor from the plane who is being treated in this hospital.
Akash, also tell us about, clearly this plane crashed into a densely populated residential area. Is it clear, for the very nature of you talking about, the difficulty in identifying the people on the plane, is it clear how many people died on the ground?
So far, the government has not released officially the figures of the people who have died. But I spoke to medics here in the hospital. They said more than 100 injured people were brought in. But most of them are stable. But at least, half a dozen people seem to be either critical or have died. I met a lady who's a 2-year-old girl, a girl child, and her mother-in-law died in the crash. I mean, they have not been able to see their bodies yet. So it's still unclear. The authorities have not released a proper figure of the casualties on the ground.
Akash, thank you so much for bringing us up to date with that. That is Akash Hassan, who's the Times reporter in Ahmedabad this morning.
સંખ્યાબંધ લોકોના મોત નીપજ્યા હતા તેના દ્રશ્યો જે છે તે આપને ટીવી સ્ક્રીન પર દેખાઈ રહ્યા છે કારણ કે આ જગ્યાએ બીજી હોસ્ટેલ હતી બડી મુશ્કેલ से परमिशन लेके आए ना ना તમે પોલીસમાં મેડેના મેસેજ બાદ ગણતરીના સેકન્ડોમાં જ પ્લેન ક્રેશ થયું હતું કપડે भी दिखा देना कहाँ ये रहे ना देख कपड़े ये हाँ दिखे जल्दी अजय अजय हाँ बोलो एक मिनट ये दिख रही कॉर्नर पे ये यहाँ से सीधा देख उंगली मेरी हाँ हाँ दिख रही बड़ी एक वो फोटोग्राफर जा रहे हैं जा सकते